Everybody, Bruce Jones here from Maps for Design. And we had a great question that came in today on how to add extra cities to one of your state maps. So what we're talking about is one of our editable maps. Let me just bring that up here. Nice and big. So have one of our state maps. This is the Ohio state map. It's one of our editable PowerPoint state maps. And everything in here is an editable object, and you can change it and customize it however you want. It's how it sort of arrives when you open the file. So what the person wants to do is add some extra cities in here on this map. And I'm just talking about how to do that. So there's a couple different ways to do it. And I'll show you both of them. The simplest one is if you, let me just zoom this up a little bit. If you were just knew where the city was, and you just wanted to place it here, you could just go into the map. Everything is a separate element. And you could just, I'm just going to click on the city for Canton, and I'm just going to duplicate it. So just use I could copy paste, or just use the, where is it? The D right here, duplicate option. And you'll notice I can move, my cursor will change from little arrows, which means resizing, to the star pattern. And let's get it right on top. Zoom in so you can see it. And I can just take this star pattern. I can move this wherever I want. So I could just put this, let's say, right here. And then I can just go grab a city, because everything's a separate element. Again, I'm going to go from my keyboard. I'm on a Mac, Command D, but you could do it from up here, duplicate. And I can just take this town, move it over here, double click on it, and type in new city name. So that's a simple way to do it. If you know where the city is, you can just go grab any element that's on here, copy paste it, make another one of it, and move it wherever you want to put it. And you'll notice that my cursor, as I move my cursor around, that if I'm inside the box, this text box, I can select it and change and customize fonts, names, retype it. If I move it to the edge, to this little frame right here, you'll see that little star pattern appear. That means I can move it anywhere I want to move it. So I'm just going to move it there, and then I'm just going to hit delete and get rid of it. And the same thing here. So that's number one. You can just sort of put a dot anywhere, put a name anywhere. You could either just duplicate one of these or go up into the text, into this area, and just do new text box. All right, so let's look at that one. That's that method. That works pretty well. So now we want to add a bunch of them, and we don't know exactly where they are. So in that case, we can go and just get a map of Ohio, and we can place it next to it, or we can use this as a template underneath. So let's do that. So I'm going to go to Google, and let me just, let's see here. Let's go to screen share. I just want to go to Google, and we're just going to go to a Google page. And I have that here. And I'm just going to type in map of Ohio, so I can get a map. And right down here, you'll see there's a bunch of maps, right? So I'm just in Google. I could go to Google Maps. I could go to Apple Maps, whatever I want, and just look for a map of Ohio. So I'm just going to grab this one and just open it up. And all I'm going to do is just copy this. And we're not tracing it. We're not copying it, but we're just using it as a reference to put other cities on here. So I could try clicking on it and just download it like you would any graphic off the internet. So I'm holding down on the Mac, I'm holding Control, or on a PC, you just hold the right click. You'll get this little window, save image. And it should I'm going to put it in my download folder. It should be there. And it says it's a JPEG, so that'll come right into PowerPoint. I can also, let's get this here. I can also just screen capture this. So I'm going to do that. I'm just going to go to my screen capture tool. And again, on a Mac, it's one way. On a PC, it's another. But it all does the same thing. I'm just going to screen capture this map of Ohio. So I have it. I can use any one of these. It doesn't really matter. I'm just going to capture it. Okay. So let's go back to my screen share. Let's go back to my map. And this is pretty cool. I can do this. All right, so here's my map. And normally when I'm going to work on a map, I'm going to just do it on a new slide so I don't wreck anything. So this is just my regular PowerPoint. So I'm just going to click, hold and drag around my map. I'm going to do copy. Edit, copy right here, copy. And then I'm going to, or I could just do duplicate slide. I'm just going to do a new slide. I'm going to do paste, paste, and here I have it. Now, what's nice is it's this size. I'm going to try to make it a little bigger to make it a little easier to work on. So while it's all selected, I'm selecting everything using my mouse. I'm just dragging around. I'm selecting everything, and I'm just going to hold down my control key or right click, depending what you're on, and I'm going to do group and group. And now I can hold down my shift key and just make this bigger, make it a little easier to work on. Now you'll notice in PowerPoint, everything's scaled up, but the type didn't scale. You notice things stayed small. So what I'm going to do is while it's grouped, I'm just going to come up here to my type menu, and I'm just going to make it from, it's about 9 point. I'm going to make it 12 point. That makes everything sort of the right size. It looks pretty good. And then Ohio itself, I could just make that bigger, maybe 18 point. And there we go. So now I'm all ready to go. And okay, so now what I want to do, whoops, let's go back here. So now what I do is just bring in my Ohio map. So I'm just going to go to Insert, and I'm going to go to Picture from File. And I believe that's probably in my download folder. So I'm just going to go to Downloads. Here it is, Map of Ohio. And here's my map, okay? So I can just put this right beside here. We're just going to use this as a reference so I can see what cities I'm going to work on. So you notice there's cities in here. Maybe I want to put in this Findlay, or I want to put in Lancaster. So now I know where they are. So I can just sort of say, okay, that Findlay's right there on that bend. I can do the same thing with my little point. Well, I'm going to also just ungroup this, make this ungroupable, ungroup like so. Now I have all my elements. So I can just duplicate the city name, duplicate the cities, put them right here in this location. I can see exactly where it is, and I can add the cities. I can also use this as a template, and I'm just going to take the state itself. I'm going to take out the fill color, and then I'm going to just slide this underneath, and I'm going to go to Arrange, Send to Back, and I'm just going to resize it so it's kind of just sits in here, gives me a rough location. I can pivot it a little bit like so, and I can kind of move it, something like that. That's pretty close. That's close enough for this. And now I can see where everything is. In fact, I believe if I double click on this, I can, let me see. I believe there's a way to change the transparency, and I can make it, should be able to make it less. But we're not going to worry about that. All right. So I can now see where things go. I can now come in here and just pick off a little town or a little dot for a city, and I can move it to, let's say I wanted to put it right here where Mount Vernon is, and I'm just going to grab my town name, duplicate that, bring it over here. Whoops. Let's come right here. And we're just going to say Mount Vernon. Okay. And so now I've added in Mount Vernon in roughly the position where it would be. We don't have to be super perfect accurate, but it's close enough. It's about where it is. You can see the roads right here, and you can adjust it. And then I can take out my background and throw that away. And I can select my outer frame and come up here to Shape Fill, add in my color. So let's just get rid of that Ohio map and maybe move this back to the center of the page. And I'm ready to go. Pretty simple to do. So the two ways that you can do, let's just tie it up here on this editable PowerPoint map, is I can just duplicate one of the little city markers, the little town markers, copy paste it or duplicate it, put it where I want it to be, and then do the same thing with the name of a town existing. So I keep it the same typeface and point sizes, duplicate that, and then just move it in the area, change the name, and we have added. So you can pretty quickly add in the new towns and city names that you'd like on your map. All right, we love the questions. Send them along. You can just go to the contact form at themapsfordesign.com, And we'll try to make a little quickie video and show you how to do it. All right. Bye-bye.